The number one tip for aspiring entrepreneurs. Welcome to OPTAFi Visionaries, where we dive deep into the minds of entrepreneurs, visionaries, and innovators who are shaping the future of business and finance. I'm your host, and today we have an inspiring story that will challenge how you think about entrepreneurship and success. Let's dive in. We're going to unpack some unconventional advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, and it comes from a surprising source, a 38-year-old self-made billionaire
Oh, wow.
named Nikhil Kamath.
Interesting. Tell me more about this billionaire and his advice.
Well, he's the co-founder of Zerodha, which you might know as India's largest online stock brokerage.
Okay.
He's featured in an article from NBC6 South Florida, and the title really caught my eye.
Yeah.
38-year-old self-made billionaire's number one tip for aspiring entrepreneurs: pay attention to what the kids are doing.
That definitely flips the script on the traditional idea of seeking mentorship from seasoned veterans.
Right.
Zerodha itself is an incredible success story. They've amassed over 10 million users and disrupted the Indian stock market with their tech-focused, low-cost approach. It's no wonder Kamath's net worth is estimated at $3 billion, according to Forbes. So what exactly does he mean by paying attention to the kids?
Kamath's advice is to go look at what the kids are doing. Go look at what a 16-year-old boy is doing and what he might want in 10 years. It might sound counterintuitive, but his reasoning is that to understand future trends and successful business opportunities, we need to look at the younger generation.
Makes sense.
They're the ones shaping culture and defining what's next.
It's an interesting perspective. Think about it. If you were trying to predict the future of fashion by observing what people in their 50s are wearing, you'd likely get a completely inaccurate picture.
Right.
Older generations, even those with impressive entrepreneurial backgrounds, can sometimes be stuck in their ways or operate on outdated models. Their advice, though well-intended, might not resonate with the current market landscape.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that Kamath isn't just talking about creating products or services specifically for young people. He's talking about understanding the broader cultural shifts they're driving and how those shifts will impact all consumers in the future.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
He's highlighting the need to tap into the fresh, unfiltered perspective of young people who haven't been conditioned by years of traditional business practices. This is where truly innovative and disruptive ideas can emerge.
And we've seen this play out time and again in the real world. Think about Mark Zuckerberg creating Facebook, a platform directly inspired by his own college experience and the social dynamics of his peers.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Or consider Ben Silbermann, the founder of Pinterest. His childhood passion for collecting became the foundation for a multi-billion-dollar business. These are prime examples of young entrepreneurs taking their generational experiences and turning them into something massive. It's almost like young people are unknowingly conducting market research for aspiring entrepreneurs. Kamath specifically emphasizes the importance of paying attention to their social media habits. He sees it as a goldmine of information.
Absolutely. It's like real-time market research unfolding before our eyes. The Pew Research Center reports that nearly half of all teenagers are online almost constantly. They're shaping trends in fashion, music, lifestyle, and even political activism through their interactions on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kamath is essentially saying that if you want to know what's coming next, you need to be tuned into these platforms and observe what's captivating the attention of young people.
Their likes, dislikes, the way they interact with brands, the content they create and consume it all, provides incredible insight into the future consumer landscape. It's not just about mimicking their preferences, but rather understanding the underlying principles that drive those preferences and how they might translate to different contexts and audiences.
So it's about spotting patterns, identifying emerging needs, and anticipating how those needs will evolve over time.
Precisely. It's about connecting the dots and understanding the bigger picture. We're not just talking about fleeting trends here, but fundamental shifts in consumer behavior and expectations.
This makes me wonder, what are young people doing today that might seem insignificant now but could hold massive business potential in 5 or 10 years?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Kamath doesn't give us all the answers, but he provides a powerful framework for finding them.
And that's what makes his advice so compelling. It's not a step-by-step guide to success, but a call to shift our perspectives and be open to unexpected sources of inspiration.
He's encouraging aspiring entrepreneurs to be curious observers, to ask questions, and to challenge their assumptions. Instead of simply replicating what's already been done, he's urging us to look to the fringes, to those who aren't bound by the established ways of doing things.
It's a reminder that innovation often emerges from unexpected places. So let's dive deeper into some specific examples of youth-driven trends and how they might translate into viable business opportunities. Are you ready to explore what the kids are up to?
Absolutely. Let's uncover those hidden gems.
Okay, let's start with something that's been exploding in popularity, esports. It's gone from a niche hobby to a global phenomenon, and it's largely driven by the passion and engagement of young people.
Esports is a fantastic example of a youth-driven trend that's reshaping the entertainment landscape. We're talking about competitive video gaming at a professional level, complete with massive tournaments, celebrity players, and millions of fans worldwide. What's fascinating is that it's not just about playing the games, it's about the entire ecosystem that sprung up around it. Exactly.
You have streaming platforms like Twitch, where millions of viewers tune in to watch their favorite players, and esports organizations that function like traditional sports teams, scouting and developing talent.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole world of esports merchandise branding and sponsorships. It's become a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's only getting bigger.
And it's a prime example of what Kamath is talking about, recognizing the power of young people's interests and understanding how those interests can translate into lucrative business opportunities. The key takeaway here is that entrepreneurs shouldn't just dismiss these trends as fads. They need to dig deeper, understand the underlying motivations, and see how they can tap into that energy and enthusiasm.
It's about recognizing the cultural shift that's happening and understanding that the way young people consume entertainment is fundamentally different from previous generations. They're looking for interactive experiences. They value community and connection, and they're drawn to authenticity and skill.
And this isn't just limited to the gaming world. Let's look at another trend that's gaining momentum, particularly among younger generations: the rise of plant-based meat alternatives.
Oh, yeah. Companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods have really taken off in recent years. And it's not just about catering to vegetarians or vegans. Many young people are choosing these alternatives because of concerns about the environmental impact of traditional meat production.
Exactly. They're more conscious of sustainability and animal welfare, and they're willing to vote with their wallets. This shift in consumer preferences is creating a massive opportunity for businesses that can provide innovative and delicious plant-based options.
It's not just about replicating the taste and texture of meat. It's about creating entirely new culinary experiences that cater to a generation that's more adventurous and open to trying new things.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If we look at the broader context, we can see how these seemingly disparate trends, esports and plant-based food, are actually connected by a common thread: a desire for experiences that are both engaging and ethically aligned with their values. This isn't just about consuming products, it's about participating in something bigger, something that reflects their worldview.
So what you're saying is that entrepreneurs need to think beyond traditional product categories and consider how they can create experiences that tap into these deeper motivations.
Precisely. Let's take another example that illustrates this point: the influence of TikTok on consumer behavior.
TikTok, the platform that's captivated the attention of millions, especially Gen Z. It's become a cultural powerhouse, driving trends in everything from music and fashion to dance challenges and even political discourse.
What's fascinating about TikTok is its ability to create viral sensations seemingly overnight. A product, a song, a dance move, anything can become a global phenomenon in a matter of days. This has huge implications for businesses as it presents both challenges and opportunities.
It's like the Wild West of marketing, where traditional rules no longer apply. But for those who can crack the code and understand how to leverage the platform's unique dynamics, the rewards can be immense.
It requires a different mindset. It's about being agile, creative, and authentic. It's about understanding how to create content that resonates with the platform's users and leveraging the power of influencers and user-generated content.
It's about understanding that young people on TikTok aren't just passively consuming content. They're actively participating in its creation and distribution. They're shaping the narrative and influencing what becomes popular.
And this participatory culture is something that entrepreneurs need to pay attention to. It's not just about broadcasting your message. It's about creating a dialogue, fostering a sense of community, and empowering your audience to become brand advocates.
So we've explored esports, plant-based foods, and TikTok as examples of youth-driven trends that hold massive business potential. What's fascinating is how these trends are interconnected by underlying values and motivations.
Absolutely. They highlight the need for entrepreneurs to think beyond traditional categories, to understand the cultural shifts that are happening, and to be willing to experiment and adapt.
And this brings us back to Kamath's advice to look forward. Look younger for inspiration, not older. It's a reminder that the future of business is being shaped by those who are most in tune with the changing world.
And it's not just about observing these trends from afar. It's about engaging with young people, understanding their perspectives, and incorporating their insights into your business strategies.
So for all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there, here's a thought-provoking question. What trends driven by younger generations have caught your attention and why?
Are there any emerging patterns in their behavior, their values, or their consumption habits that you think could translate into viable business opportunities? This is where the real work begins, observing, analyzing, and connecting the dots.
It's easy to dismiss young people's interests as just like fleeting fads. But if we look closer, we can see them like shaping the future. They're early adopters of technology. They're passionate about social causes, and they're not afraid to challenge the status quo.
They're a generation that values authenticity, transparency, and experiences that align with their values. And that's something businesses need to understand. It's not enough to simply create a product or service. You need to create a brand that resonates with their worldview.
It's about building a community, fostering a dialogue, and empowering your audience. And that's where Kamath's advice really hits home. He's not just telling entrepreneurs to pay attention to what young people are doing. He's urging them to understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, what are their motivations? What are their aspirations? What problems are they trying to solve?
Right.
These are the questions that can unlock truly innovative and disruptive business ideas.
It's about seeing the world through their eyes, understanding their needs, and anticipating their desires. And that requires a willingness to step outside of our own comfort zones and embrace new ways of thinking.
Remember, the next big business idea might not come from a boardroom meeting or a market research report. It might come from observing a group of teenagers playing video games, scrolling through TikTok, or discussing their favorite plant-based burger.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Nikhil Kamath's advice, I want to leave you with a challenge. Don't just observe these trends from a distance. Engage with young people, ask them questions, and really try to understand their perspective.
You might be surprised by what you learn, and who knows, you might just stumble upon the next big thing.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mind of a self-made billionaire and his unconventional advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep those entrepreneurial spirits burning bright.